And if you think you have a time problem, it's actually the opposite. Everyone that has left their 9 to 5, you think you're going to have the freedom. Instead of freedom, it turns into complete chaos. Filling your day with like emails, it's called fake productivity. What if I told you it's actually easier than it sounds when these 7 little things become a habit? Good morning, this is what my calendar looks like today. Everything time blocked. Like, have you guys heard of paradox of choice? I always think about it whenever I go to an ice cream store. Basically, it's the thought that if you have too many choices, you get paralyzed, like you do not know what to pick. Very similarly, from the same creators of that, we have Parkinson's law, which summarized means that if you give yourself 4 hours, you will take 4 hours. If you give yourself 10 minutes, you will take 10 minutes to send that email out. So I schedule absolutely everything out, because if not, then I'll wake up, I'll have no blocks, I'll sit down at a computer, spend my time emailing, scrolling on the phone. 8 hours can pass and then I'm like, whoa, what did I do all day? So I usually do this, my actual weekly time blocking, on Sundays. Sundays, Gabe and I started tradition, this little activity. Wherever we are, we'll just have like 10 minutes like, hey, how did your week go? What do you want to improve on next week? And then after having like talked about that, I'm like, this week I want to focus on A, B, C, and then I'll actually go in and I'll put it in my calendar so I know every day what has to be done. Now this week is going to be a little interesting because I actually am traveling back to the States from New Zealand. It's going to be a long travel day. I'd say probably like a 3 or 4 if you saw my last Instagram post. So I already know when I sit down Sunday that I have to factor in that time, and it's not like my whole week gets thrown off, because then I learn how to balance it and how to actually like level it out, even if I do have big things going on like a 15-20 hour travel day. And if you think you have a time problem, it's actually the opposite. I think this has happened to everyone that has left their 9 to 5, especially to start their own thing. Like, you think you're going to have the freedom, you think you're going to have a lot more time, but the reality is it's completely the opposite. When we have that structured 9 to 5 like time frame and a boss and like people telling us exactly what to do, like, you have to get it done, because if not, you will literally get fired. But when you leave and when you don't have that 9 to 5 structure, you realize that instead of freedom, it turns into complete chaos. What you have is a priority problem, and I needed to get slapped in the face by this fact too. Filling your day with like emails, admin, scrolling, things that you think are keeping you busy when it's actually like not really doing anything. It's called fake productivity. Bye, I'm going for a run.
So I sat down with a mentor who explained this to me, and basically he recommended that I pick 2 to 3 main tasks per week. He calls it needle moving tasks. So that's exactly what I've been doing, and it's made a difference.
The goal is not to be busy, it's about how effective you can be in the least amount of time. At the same time, I fully learned what people mean by the concept eating the frog. Think about doing the hardest thing of your day as soon as you sit down to work. And one thing that has really kind of just like made it click for me, the difference between somebody that is fully successful and where you want to go and you, isn't that they are smarter, isn't that they have more skill, isn't that they have a competitive advantage. It's literally that they were willing to put in the time and do the hard work, which most of the time we don't want to do. Like, I have noticed that about myself. When I was doing my end of the year check-in, I was like, okay, I did a lot of things, but did I actually put in the work? And did I actually do the things that made me uncomfortable? And did I actually sit down, push myself to maybe put in 12, 20, 30, 50 hours that other people just don't want to put in? And that's literally what takes you to the next level. So not only do I jot down my top 3 things, but I put the hardest and the most pivotal one at the top, and that is what I start my day with. And I literally tell myself, like, you will get rewarded for doing the hard work. What else did we learn from our mentor?
Tell them about the hourly rate framework.
This is also a huge thing that totally transformed not only my day, but I think your day too. And basically what you have to do is you have to take what you earn per month, You're gonna divide it by the number of hours you work. So let's say 5,000, you divide it by 30 hours a week. That means your time is basically like $40 an hour. Now what you do is that everything that you do, absolutely everything, you put a price tag to it. Doing the laundry, sitting down to answer emails, meetings, working on coding something like building a project. And then that just stays in your brain. Like, would you scroll for $40 an hour? The hour that you were spending on that phone, 40, another 40. And then you also reframe it the other way. Does it cost $80 of your time to maybe clean your apartment? Or could you outsource that for less so that in those 2 hours, you are sitting down to do tasks that are obviously going to get you a lot more return than what it costs to do that? Think of it this way. How can you do more tasks that eventually are going to get your hourly rate to go up because you're making more and more? Therefore, those tasks that are less costly no longer should fall in your bucket of things to do. And that's only possible if you start doing this like I did. The only way of even calculating that number realistically is if you are super, super strict with yourself and you track every little thing that you do. I do it right here with this free app called Toggl Track, and it literally tracks as I am working. And then at the end of the month, I'll look through the analytics that it provides and then just see how much time is going into each thing that I'm doing. The craziest part though is that you're normally not on a computer when you're doing the things that are most likely to distract you, AKA this right here. This is probably like the biggest distraction, productive software, but usually has more tendency to be a distraction. And that's all of us being brutally honest. The average person spends 4 to 5 hours scrolling. There's been times where I look at my screen time and it's 6 or 8 hours a day. So I started using this app called toggl that literally blocks my screen time. Like if I try to open up Instagram during the hours that are my productive hours where I'm working, it will not let me go in. You can fully customize what apps you want to be blocked between what times. Like you set this up yourself. I've had it for the past 3 months now and I have truly notice a difference in my productivity. If I wanted to on the app, I could technically open it. Like there is a way where you say like, hey, I need a break. Like I'm actually trying to get in. It tells you like, breathe in, breathe out 5 seconds. Like, are you sure? Then you have to select your time frame. But that's when it's literally only on you to put these rules and to follow them. Like no one else is going to be like, hey, are you following? Did you actually log in? Like, no. So when it's you versus you is when you have to understand how to trick your brain. Because we are programmed to like comfort, to like it easy, to not want to like force ourselves out of our comfort zone. When it comes to picking the 3 things that you have to do, if you say like edit a YouTube video, if I saw that on my block, that I would procrastinate. Even though I know I want to eat the frog, I would look at that and I would be like, oh, like downloading the footage, transferring, sitting down, opening it up. Like I know editing a YouTube video takes hours. So if I have that laid out right there, my brain is automatically going to feel that it's heavy. So the way that you trick your brain is by breaking it down to smaller tasks. So for example, if I just say, transfer the footage to the file, that's so much easier. Then if my other thing is just cut up the footage, again, so much easier. If another day I put, hey, add the text, add the music, add the sound effects, or sit down and review the video. So when our brain sees an undefined task, the reality and the chances of that getting done are, when your brain knows exactly what done looks like, it can actually make it happen. So that's a little hack that I always do when I'm writing down my top 3 things. I make them as specific, as clear, as granular, and as like straight to the dot as possible. So for me today, also looking at my calendar, I have a meeting with my team where I have to make a big decision. Number 2, I have to send over some documents for a brand deal that I did. And lastly, number 3, I have to review some of my YouTube videos before posting. So let's get to it. But there is one more thing I think is super important in thinking about, that we don't realize that day to day, we make about 35,000 decisions. So the faster you get good at either automating or not spending so much time in those little tiny decisions, the more time to be productive you have. This is something that I realized that I have heavily been struggling on. I am actively working on this because I realized how much overthinking I do, even to me, like the smallest decisions, like where to eat, like should we go here, should we not? So in order to become faster and get it engraved in my brain to just make decisions quicker, I started playing a game with Gabe. So we started doing this game because both of us wanted to improve our overthinking. And so it goes like, if one person asks the other, like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to go X and Y? Because we're making decisions like big and small in our day-to-day, like from the most minimal things to big things, like where should we go next month? Because we are traveling full time. Like right now we're in New Zealand and who knows where we're going to be next month. So it just makes that decision process faster. So now whenever one person asks the other, you have to give an answer on the spot. If not, the other person owes
$1 to the other person.
And I think right now we're like, you're $2 up, I'm $3 down.
I don't know, that's current. But it works.
Yeah, because it's kind of like whenever he asks me something, I'm like, oh, I have to give an answer straight or else I'm going to lose $1. Yeah. So I think it's been like more engraved in making decisions faster. And overall, that goes hand in hand with being more productive because you don't spend time making the little tiny decisions. So that's where I'm headed off to, and I'll leave this video over here for you to watch next to see what I would do differently if I wanted to start traveling full time today.